Have you ever seen a mango tree knock on your door and beg you to be hungry? Trees don't walk to you. The hungry walk to the tree. That is a law. You can ignore it, but you can never disagree with it. Write it down. Your gift is fruit. Fruit doesn't advertise with noise. Fruit advertises with value. It hangs there, ripe, consistent, dependable, and the needs of the world become its GPS. When you grow your fruit, those in need will find you. In the beginning, God set the pattern. Then God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself. Genesis 1:11. Seed in itself. That means God hid tomorrow inside what he placed in you today. You are carrying a seed that knows its assignment. Proverbs says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. Notice it is the gift that makes the room. Not your begging, not your branding, not your hustle. Write this down. Your gift is authorized by heaven to open doors you cannot even knock on. Now let me set some people free. You are not your job title. That's a label on your shirt. It is not the seed in your spirit. Titles can be printed, promoted, and revoked. Fruit cannot be faked. Your job is a role. Your gift is your identity. Jesus said, by this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. John 15:8. Not much fame, much fruit. Your gift exists to solve somebody's hunger, not to decorate your ego. Write it down. My gift is for service, not status. Tweet that to somebody right now. Let me confront you with love. Some of you keep waving leaves. Leaves are appearances. Leaves are resumes, filters, and followers. Fruit is results. Fruit is the pain you consistently remove from other people's lives. When Jesus saw a fig tree with leaves but no figs, he cursed it, Mark 11:13-14. Why? Because pretense without production insults purpose. Are you leafy or fruitful? If the hungry aren't coming, maybe you're loud without value. That's not an insult, that's an invitation. Grow your fruit. Here is the promise and the map. Over these sessions, we will locate the seed God planted in you, clarify the kind of fruit it must bear, and then we will do what God does plan before we promote. Image before dominion. Character before power. Because a tree without roots is a scandal waiting on a breeze. We will build the root system, unchanging character. Then we will install daily disciplines that fence your orchard, anticipate the predators that come for ripe fruit, and design a deployment so that every week, without fail, you deliver service to real hunger. That's where we're going. But today, we see this foundation. You don't chase platforms, you cultivate orchards. When you do, need will locate you. Like a tree planted by rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in its season. Whatever he does shall prosper. Psalm 1-3. Lead with your life, grow your fruit, and let the world come. Principles are stubborn things. They do not negotiate with your feelings, your culture, or your calendar. A principle is a law. You can ignore a law, but you can never disagree with it without paying for it. Gravity doesn't care if you are sincere. Step off a 10-story building with a positive mindset and a prayer shawl, and the law will introduce you to the sidewalk. That's not cruel, that's consistent. Write it down. Consistency is kindness. When you are building a life, you can anchor to it. God built your life on a principle called purpose. Listen to the original blueprint. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Image before dominion. Character before power. Purpose before position. God never gives power to protect an empty life. He gives power to fulfill a purpose. Dominion is authority, but image is integrity. Power without principle becomes a weapon. That's why he starts with who you are, not what you do. Let me confront your confusion with love. You were trained by a culture that bows to the paycheck. You call the thing that pays you the thing that defines you. No. Employment is a role. Purpose is a law. Write it down. God's purpose for me predates and outlives my job. You had purpose in your mother's womb before you ever had a resume. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. Jeremiah 1-5. Job titles, arrive late and leave early. Purpose is eternal. Tweet that to somebody who just got laid off. Your value did not go with the box you carried out. Careers are channels. Channels freeze in winter and flood in spring. They shift with markets, industries, and managers. Purpose is the river beneath the channels. It never dries when a company closes. If you make a job your identity, you will panic in a recession and sell your birthright for soup. Ask Esau. He traded destiny for dinner. Don't exchange your calling for a contract. Your job is a temporary platform for permanent purpose. You say, but Doc, I need to eat. Yes, eat. But don't worship the plate. Food is a means, purpose is the meaning. The paycheck is a tool. Purpose is the target. You can be paid to do many things you were never born to do. That's why people feel rich and empty. Wealth without why is poverty wearing jewelry. Write it down. Purpose sustains you when pay is delayed, denied, or decreased. Here is the liberation. You cannot be fired from what you were created to be. They can remove a title. They cannot revoke a seed. If the channel closes, the river finds another path. That is why wise people keep asking, what law am I here to fulfill? Not what label can I collect this year? You build your life on principles because they never change. A is A at 2 a.m. in Africa or Alaska. C is still C under pressure. In the same way, your purpose is your constant, your non-negotiable, your internal north. Align every job to serve it. Submit every opportunity to it. And if an offer requires you to betray it, that offer is not a blessing, it is a test. Choose image before dominion. Choose purpose before paycheck. Lead with your life. Let me change the vocabulary so I can change your life. Employment means you are being used by someone else's vision. Deployment means you are being released by your gift to serve others. Write it down. Employment places you on a company schedule. Deployment places you on your assignment. Employment is a contract. Deployment is a calling. You can ignore this, but you can never disagree with the principle without consequences. If you live employed without being deployed, you will earn a living and never release your life. Our culture trains you to seek salary, not seed. To chase titles, not fruit. That is why people boast about positions, but cannot point to people they consistently feed. The system says, get a job, get a title, get a raise. Heaven says, find your gift, grow your fruit, serve your world. Not employment, deployment. Not position, mission. Not paycheck, purpose. Tweet that to somebody who thinks a promotion is destiny. A promotion is a tool, purpose is the target. The scriptures are clear. As each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. 1 Peter 4:10. Minister means serve. Gift means seed. Steward means it is not optional. God never said, as each has received a job. He said, gift. Then he structured the entire community around deployment. He himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers for the equipping of the saints, for the work of ministry. Ephesians 4:11-12. Work of ministry means work of service. That's deployment language. Here is your identity relief. You cannot be fired from a gift. You can only neglect it. Joseph lost his coat, lost his position, lost his freedom, but he never lost his gift. In the prison, he still interpreted dreams, and his gift escorted him to the palace. Genesis 40:41. Titles came and went. Fruit kept feeding. Write it down. When you stay deployed, demotion becomes transportation. Diagnostic question. If your job ended today, would your fruit still feed anyone tomorrow? If the answer is no, you are employed, but not yet deployed. That is not condemnation. That is your appointment. Let me confront your method. Some of you wait for a job description to tell you who to help. That is backward. Deployed people wake up with a service description written by conviction. Who am I assigned to? What pain do I remove? Where will I deliver this week? Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord. That means even inside employment, you work from deployment. The company rents your time. God owns your gift. Serve your employer with excellence. But never let the badge bury the seed. So today, rewrite your internal contract. Say it out loud. Write it down and live it daily. I am not waiting to be used. I am sent to serve. not employment, deployment, not position, mission, not paycheck, purpose. Here am I, send me, Isaiah 6-8. Lead with your life, release your fruit weekly, and watch the hungry find you. What is a gift? Let me define it so you can stop guessing and start governing. A gift is an inherent, God-given capacity that consistently produces value for others with excellence and joy. Write it down. Capacity, consistency, value, joy. If it does not serve others, it is not a gift, it is a hobby. If it produces once and then disappears under pressure, it is not a gift, it is a performance. If it drains you dry while blessing others, it is not yet a gift, it is an ungoverned talent. A true gift feeds others and fuels you because it flows from source. There are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. 1 Corinthians 12-4, source matters. Seed first. God never created anything without hiding its future inside. The fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself. Genesis 1:11. Your future is not in a forecast, it is in a seed. Write it down. The seed does not beg the soil. The seed obeys the law. When you cooperate with your design, harvest is predictable. That is why a man's gift makes room for him. Proverbs 18:16. Not the resume, the seed. And here is the mercy of God. The gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. They don't expire because a manager misread you or a season misunderstood you. Now, the difference. Talent is trained, gift is innate. Skills polish, gift produces fruit. You can attend workshops to refine a technique, but you cannot enroll in a class to become what God already encoded. You can learn to speak, but you cannot learn the burden that makes words heal. You can study finance, but you cannot buy the instinct that sees systems others miss. Write this down. Training can make you competent. Only your gift makes you catalytic. Talent impresses, gift transforms. Talent seeks a stage. Gift builds a table and feeds people. How do you recognize it? 4 clues. Effortless effectiveness. You do it and it works repeatedly. Timeless energy. You finish and somehow feel fuller. Righteous anger. You cannot stand to see this one problem persist. Injustice in that lane offends your design. Repeated demand. People keep coming back, not because of marketing, but because something you carry removes a specific pain. Answer me. What can you not ignore? Where do you lose track of time? What do people thank you for that you never advertised? Write it down. The overlap is your seed speaking. Signature last. Every seed carries a signature according to its kind. Your gift leaves a mark that is traceable. That is why I teach. Your gift is your leadership. Fruit leaders don't seek followers. Fruit attracts them. Tweet that. Trees don't chase the hungry. The hungry trace the signature of fruit. And remember the source. As each one has received a gift, minister it to one another. 1 Peter 4:10. Receive from the Spirit, release to the people, and rejoice in the joy that follows obedience. Image before dominion, seed before stage, signature before spotlight. Lead with your life. Feed your world. Now let's put handles on this discovery so you can stop wondering and start tracking. Clue number 1, passion that persists under pressure. What can you not do? Jeremiah said, his word was in my heart like a burning fire, shut up in my bones. I was weary of holding it back, and I could not. Jeremiah 20:9. That's the test. Even tired, even criticized, even unpaid, you still feel compelled. Write it down. If it dies under fatigue, it's hype. If it burns under pressure, it's a clue. What keeps waking you at 2 a.m.? Name it. Clue number 2. Problems that provoke holy anger, not carnal rage, holy disturbance. Nehemiah heard about broken walls and sat down and wept, then rose to build Nehemiah 1:2. Jesus saw exploitation in the temple and cleansed it. John 2:14-17. Be angry and do not sin. Ephesians 4:26. Righteous anger is design offended. What recurring injustice makes your spirit stand up? What deficiency do you rebuke even when no camera is on? Write it down. Your intolerance reveals your assignment. Clue number 3, activities you would do without pay because the fruit itself is satisfying. Paul said, for necessity is laid upon me. Yes, woe is me if I do not preach the gospel. 1 Coríntios 9:16. Jesus said, my food is to do the will of him who sent me. John 4:34. Food means fulfillment. What work feeds you while it feeds others? If no one ever applauded, you'd still do it. Write it down if you would do it free. God can trust you with fees. Tweet that. Clue number 4, consistent compliments, an unsolicited demand. By their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:16. Patterns don't lie, flattery does. What do people keep thanking you for that you never promoted? Can you look at this? Can you fix that? When you show up, peace shows up. Track the language, screenshot the text, gather the voicemails. If strangers echo your friends, the market is testifying. Write it down, repeat it. Demand is external evidence of internal design. Clue number 5, childhood patterns across places and times. A is A at 2 a.m. in Africa or Alaska. C is still C in the Bronx or the Bahamas. Consistency exposes design. When you were 8, did you organize the game, rewrite the rules, or tell the story? Did you fix the toy, counsel the friend, count the coins, or draw the future? Different geographies, same tendencies. That's not accident. That's architecture. Write it down. What you kept being everywhere is who you are anywhere. Now, act, journal each clue for 7 days. Circle the overlap. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain. Reduce it to one sentence. You can tweet right now. I serve who by what you remove or provide so they can outcome weekly. Example, I steady anxious teams by designing simple systems so they execute calmly. Do not neglect the gift that is in you. 1 Timothy 4:14. Name it, post it, schedule it. The overlap is your seed speaking. Lead with your life. Now that you have circled the overlap and named your seed, hear me as a father. Before you release fruit, bury roots. God's order is non-negotiable. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Image before dominion. Character before power. Roots before fruit. You can ignore it, but you can never disagree with it without consequences. Write it down. Power will magnify whatever you are. If you are split, power will split you faster. What is character? Character is integrity, and integrity means oneness. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Be holy means be one. No double life, no secret self. There is no such thing as a private life. Private is only practice for public. Who you are at 2 a.m. is who you are. A is A in Africa or Alaska. C is still C in the Bronx or the Bahamas. Statues don't change when the weather shifts. That's why we call them statues. Character is your statue self, unchanging under pressure. Tweet that. How do you build that root? Through the cascade. Philosophy, what you believe about God, about yourself, about people, produces your values. Your values produce your morals, what you decide is right and wrong. Your morals inform your ethics, how you practice those standards in real situations. Repeated ethics form your character, your integrated self. And character becomes your lifestyle, the predictability of who you are anywhere, anytime. Write it down. Vision without values is destiny without discipline. Now the stress test. Are you for sale? Name your price and I'll show you your weakness. If a bigger platform can buy your silence, you're for sale. If a late invoice can buy your lie, you're for sale. If applause can buy your compromise, you're for sale. Roots answer temptation before the offer arrives. Who may dwell in your holy hill? He who swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:1-4. Proverbs adds, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10:9. Security is a root benefit. Establish a values covenant today. Write it down. Honesty is not the best policy. Honesty is my only policy. Character is self-imposed discipline. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions and throw away the key. Say it out loud. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not betray confidences. I do not promise what I cannot deliver. I arrive when I say, I pay what I owe. I will not do in secret what I would be ashamed to announce. Never do anything you don't want anyone to find out about. Tweet that. This is why God insists on image before dominion. Your gift will draw demand. Your character must govern supply. Plant deep today so your tomorrow doesn't uproot you. Leave with your life. Roots anchor the tree. Fences protect the orchard. Discipline is the fence. Write it down. Discipline is the fence that guards your orchard and keeps your gift fruitful over time. Gifts rot without governance. Excellence is not an event. Excellence is disciplined repetition. Jesus went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day as was his custom, Luke 4:16. Custom means schedule. Daniel prayed 3 times a day as was his custom since early days, Daniel 6:10. Customs create consistency. Consistency creates credibility. If it isn't on your calendar, it isn't in your character. Set a non-negotiable hour every day to practice your gift. Not when you feel like it, when you said you would. Paul said, I discipline my body and bring it into subjection. 1 Corinthians 9:27. Schedule is subjection. Tweet that. Now, boundaries. Pruning is not punishment. Pruning is protection. Every branch that bears fruit he prunes that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. Write it down. Say no to good so you can say yes to great. Turn off alerts that auction your attention. Decline invitations that dilute your assignment. People pleasing is purpose leaking. You are not rude, you are rooted. Ask yourself before you say yes. Does this feed my gift or just feed my ego? The wise builder counts the cost. Luke 14:28. Cost includes focus. Fence your time. Fence your mind. Fence your relationships. A city with broken walls is vulnerable. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Proverbs 25:28. Build walls. Rest is a law, not a luxury. God worked 6, then God rested 1. Genesis 2:2-3. The Sabbath was made for man. Mark 2:27. Fatigue invites compromise. Clarity keeps covenant. Elijah fell apart after exhaustion. Jesus rose a long while before daylight and prayed. Mark 1:35. Rest restores vision. Prayer renews conviction. Install rhythms. Daily quiet. Weekly Sabbath. Periodic retreat. If you don't stop, your body will stop you. Write it down. Unrested roots cannot carry ripe fruit. Invite correction before the crowd corrects you. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Proverbs 27:6. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Appoint a mentor and a small circle who can tell you the truth without losing access. Give them permission. Correct my craft. Confront my character. Calibrate my pace. Review weekly. What worked? What wounded? What will I change by Thursday? Honesty is my only policy. Better a private rebuke than a public obituary. Lead with your life. And master money, so money cannot master you. The borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. Owe no one anything except to love one another. Romans 13:8. Budget so your purpose has a plan. Save so your gift has runway. Avoid debt so no creditor can muzzle your conviction. Set aside a storehouse. God promised to bless storehouses. Deuteronomy 28:8. Fund your development, not your distractions. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. Proverbs 21:5. Here are your daily laws. Write them down. Tweet them. Live them. Schedule the gift. Prune the noise. Rest to renew. Seek correction. Steward money. Fence up your orchard and your fruit will be dependable. Your service sustainable. Your witness believable. Discipline today protects destiny tomorrow. Lead with your life. Ripe fruit attracts visitors and predators. Write it down. You will not be tested when you are barren. You will be tested when you are blooming. The enemy does not waste temptation on emptiness. He comes for fruit. And there are only 3 exams that reveal the real you. Only 3. Power, money, access to sex. You can ignore this, but you can never disagree with it. Therefore, let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. 1 Corinthians 10:12. Take heed now. Power first. Power does not corrupt. Power exposes corruption. Power is a magnifier. When your gift opens doors, when your name gathers a room, when your voice moves budgets, who are you then? Are you for sale? Are you intoxicated with titles? Remember Samson, anointed, strong, famous, but undisciplined. He played with boundaries and died with enemies. Judges 16. Write it down. Gift without governance becomes a weapon against you. Contrast Joseph. He was gifted in administration and dreams. Power touched him in Potiphar's house and later in Pharaoh's palace, but character governed appetite. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. Integrity promoted him. Tweet that appetite under arrest becomes authority you can trust. Money next. The love of money, not money. The love of it is a root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. Money is a test because it measures your values with math. Here is your guardrail. A written financial policy. Not vibes writing. Percentage to give. Percentage to save. Percentage to invest. Spending limits. No secret accounts. 2 signature thresholds over a set amount. Automatic transfers to storehouse. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. Proverbs 21:5. Decide before the invoice, not after the impulse. If your budget doesn't bind you, a bribe will. A bribe corrupts the heart. Ecclesiastes 7:7. Lock your money in the prison of your convictions and throw away the key. Sex lasts. Desire is holy. Disorder is deadly. Access is a test of secrecy versus transparency. Build bright lines now. Never meet privately, romantically, or emotionally with someone who is not your spouse behind closed doors without visibility. Glass windows, open calendars, location sharing with your authority circle, digital filters on every device you own. Prescript your exit. If a message turns suggestive, you forward it to your accountability and block. Joseph left his garment in her hand and fled. Genesis 39:12. Flee is a command, not a conference. Don't debate with Delilah. Delete Delilah. Structure your authority. Appoint an accountability triad, mentor, peer, and if married, your spouse with full access to your schedule, spending, and screens. Meet monthly. Ask them to ask you the questions you don't want to hear. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. And live loudly. There is no such thing as a private life. Transparency rule. Never do anything you don't want anyone to find out about. Write it down. Honesty is my only policy. Now act. List your top 3 vulnerabilities by name: power, flattery, money, pressure, sexual temptation. Assign 1 practical safeguard to each today: a spending cap and 2 signature rule, a no closed door policy and calendar access, a pre-decided no script and filtered devices. Put them in writing. Share them with your triad before sunset. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Anticipate the test before success arrives. Lead with your life. Good. Your roots are planted and your fences are up. Now answer the next kingdom question. Who is hungry for your fruit? Not people. Precision. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks. Proverbs 27:23. Name them. Anxious new managers drowning in chaos. Single mothers building on 2 hours of sleep. Teen boys adrift without fathers. Bivocational pastors buried in administration. Small shop owners bleeding cash flow. First-year teachers losing classrooms by 8:15 a.m. Write it down. If you cannot name their pain, you cannot aim your gift. Clarify value with a sentence that cuts through fog. 1 line. No poetry. Just precision. I serve defined people by your gift action so they can specific result within time frame. Example, I serve anxious new managers by designing simple daily rhythms so their teams execute calmly within 30 days. That's fruit, not vague inspiration. Measurable transformation. By this my Father is glorified that you bear much fruit. John 15:8. Fruit is results, not reactions. Tweet that. Now choose your channels. Purpose is 1, platforms are many. Paul said he taught publicly and from house to house. Acts 20:20. That's channels. You can mentor 1, teach many, build systems, heal hearts, organize operations, write guides, host roundtables, create tools. Don't worship a platform, deploy a purpose. I have become all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. 1 Corinthians 9:22. Write it down. Change methods, not mission. Adjust delivery, not doctrine. Prototype small and shift weekly. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Zechariah 4:10. Start with 12, test with 3, refine with 1, then repeat. Every 7 days, deliver a defined piece of fruit to a defined group, one live session, one field-tested checklist, one healing conversation, one tutorial, one system installed, one visit to the widow, one Saturday skills clinic. If it isn't on the calendar, it isn't in your character. Set a shifting day and protect it like a Sabbath. Jesus readied his assignment and then declared, today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing. Luke 4:21. Today means schedule. Measure outcomes, not applause. Applause is noise. Outcomes are numbers. Ask, did anxiety drop? Did on-time delivery rise? Did conflict decrease? Did cash flow stabilize? Did grades improve? Did relapse rates fall? You will know them by their fruits. Matthew 7:16. Collect testimonies, track metrics, iterate the model. Excellence is continuous correction. Now, build your service model in writing. Who you serve, what pain you solve, where you will deliver this week. Lock the triad: audience, value, channel. Then shift fruit weekly. And hear the maxim: true leaders don't chase followers. They cultivate orchards that feed cities. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Cities eat from orchards they can trust. Design the road, plant the trees, keep the schedule, and let the hungry find you. Lead with your life. Now that you are shipping fruit weekly, let me confront the next law: economics. Trees may grow freely, but orchards are not free. Farmers, fences, tools, time, these require stewardship. Write this down. Pricing is not greed. Pricing is stewardship. Price reflects value and funds continuity so service can continue. Paul said, the laborer is worthy of his wages. Luke 10:7. You shall not muzzle an ox while it treads out the grain. 1 Timothy 5:18. If your gift feeds others, it must also feed the mechanism that makes feeding possible. Tweet that. Here is the pathway: volunteer proof, paid pilot, scalable model with integrity. Volunteer proof first. Give targeted, strategic fruit to a defined group to validate outcomes. Test the checklist, teach the module, install the system, document the results and the testimonies. That is not exploitation, that is evidence. Jesus fed 5,000 with a boy's lunch and then collected baskets. Data collection, John 6:12. Write it down. Collect the baskets. Paid pilot next. Move from free fruit to a modest, clear fee with a written scope. Small enough to reduce friction, strong enough to signal seriousness. Deliver defined outcomes in a defined time. Track the numbers. Refine. Excellence is continuous correction. Then scale with integrity. What does that mean? Policies, refund policy, scope of work policy, conflict of interest policy, payment policy, no hidden fees, no bait and switch. Honesty is my only policy. If you cannot deliver it, don't sell it. If they don't need it, don't pitch it. Mission over margin. Write that in ink. Multiple channels now. One gift, many streams. Consulting for depth, courses for breadth, products and tools for continuity, ministry expressions for grace and healing, partnerships and licensing for reach. Paul made tents and preached the gospel, same purpose, multiple channels. Acts 18:3, 1 Corinthians 9:14. Do not worship a channel, govern a purpose. Ecclesiastes says, give a serving to 7 and also to 8, for you do not know what evil will be on the earth. Ecclesiastes 11:2. Diversify your delivery, not your identity. Install the primary guardrail, generosity first. Tithe to your storehouse. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse and try me now in this, Malachi 3:10. Honor the Lord with your wealth and first fruits, Proverbs 3-9. The generous soul will be made rich, Proverbs 11:25. Set percentages before the invoice arrives. First to God, second to savings, third to costs, then live on the rest. He who has pity on the poor lends to the Lord. Proverbs 19:17. Keep the poor on your budget and pride out of your heart. Money remains your servant when giving is your habit. Tweet that. Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives you power to get wealth to establish his covenant. Wealth is a tool for covenant, not a trophy for ego. Therefore, your policy line is non-negotiable. Never sell your soul to sell your service. If a sponsor buys your silence, you are bought. If a client requires compromise, decline the contract. Better a smaller orchard with clean water than a vast estate poisoned by greed. Purpose before paycheck. Mission over margin. Price with integrity. Give with joy. Build with policies. Diversify with wisdom. And your orchard will feed generations without feeding your pride. Lead with your life. Visibility without vanity. That's the assignment. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Not see your ego, see your works. Write it down. Credibility is character made visible. Consistency builds trust. A is A at 2 a.m. in Africa or Alaska. Credibility is the same way. It doesn't change with the camera angle. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Your name is your currency. Spend it wisely. Grow it slowly. Protect it jealously. You can ignore this, but you can never disagree with it. There is no such thing as a private life. What you post is preaching. What you ship is doctrine. Your work is your witness. Lead with your life. How do we make character visible without making self a spectacle? Story, stewardship, share, case studies that spotlight principles, not your personality. Testimonies are not trophies. They are classrooms. Tell the story of the system that calmed the teen, the habit that saved the marriage, the checklist that stopped the leak. Name the law, not your legend. He who glories, let him glory in the Lord. 2 Corinthians 10:17. Write it down, speak last about yourself, first about the problem you solved, and always about the principle that solved it. Tweet that. When you teach the law behind the wind, you multiply fruit without multiplying pride. Digital discipline next. Your phone is a pulpit. Behave accordingly. Post nothing you wouldn't preach from a stage with your mother, your mentor, and your maker on the front row. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. James 1:19. Slow your thumbs. Don't chase trends that betray your covenant. Don't subtweet your bitterness. Repent of it. No thirst traps. No half-truths. No outrage theater. Character is self-imposed discipline. Impose it on your timeline. Curate your captions. Problem first. Principle next. Proof last. Then a precise invitation to serve. If the post doesn't serve your assignment, save it or delete it. Honesty is my only policy. Excellence must become visible. Fruit should look edible. Clear language, no jargon, fog. Punctual delivery early is on time. On time is late. Clean environments ought to prophesize reliability. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. Do it heartily as to the Lord. Colossians 3:23. Proofread your emails. Put names on folders. Straighten the chairs. Label the cables. Answer messages within an agreed window. Clean design, crisp audio, proper lighting, accurate invoices, exact scopes. Excellence is love made visible to the people you serve. Now the audit. Walk your public streets with Psalm 101, 2 inches, your heart. I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. Search your name. Review every profile, bio, link, photo, story, highlight. Remove what contradicts your values, covenant. Correct exaggerations. Retract sloppy promises. Archive vanity. Repent publicly where you sinned publicly. Invite your accountability triad to inspect your feeds, your website, your voicemail greeting. Align tone, typography, timing, and testimony with your assignment. Image before dominion. Make your image integrous so your dominion is safe. Write it down. Make your character visible through consistent excellence so people can trust your fruit. Not noise, not hype. Proof, pattern, predictability. Lead with your life. Now we seal it with ink and time. Vision becomes violence against delay when it is written, scheduled, and reported. Write the vision and make it plain, Habakkuk 2:2. Faith without works is dead, James 2:17. Write it down. You can ignore this, but you can never disagree with it. What is not written is not scheduled. What is not scheduled is not done. Today we enter a 90-day deployment contract. Image before dominion, now schedule before fruit. First, write a covenant and sign it. 3 non-negotiable values, 3 daily disciplines, 3 relational boundaries. Values: honesty is my only policy, stewardship over show, service before self. Daily disciplines: 1 protected hour of practice, 30 minutes in scripture and prayer, 1 action that shifts value before noon. Relational boundaries: no secret meetings, 2 signature rule on expenses above a set amount. No late night private chats with anyone who threatens my vows. Put the date, sign your name. Add a witness from your accountability circle. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Character is self-imposed discipline. Impose it in writing. Second calendar, the work. Choose a weekly fruit output you will deliver for 12 consecutive weeks. 1 lesson taught, 1 prototype tested, 1 service performed, 1 system installed. Fix the day and hour. Protect it like Sabbath. Attach metrics. Numbers served. Outcome change. Testimonies collected. By their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:16. If it isn't on the calendar, it isn't in your character. Luke 4:16. Custom creates credibility. Numbers are friends to honesty. Third, build the accountability triangle. Mentor above, peer beside, mentee below. Meet or report every week, 15 minutes each. Upward, wisdom and correction. Sideways, transparency and pace. Downward, service and multiplication. Share your calendar, your metrics, your money rules. In the multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. The generous soul will be made rich. Proverbs 11:25. Pour into another and God pours into you. Fourth, create a stop list. Remove 1 habit, 1 debt, 1 draining relationship that threatens your roots. Habit: identify the biggest leak. Late night scrolling, sugar spikes, procrastination. Replace it with sleep, reading, or prep. Debt: select 1 account, freeze it, set an auto payment, sell something to accelerate. Relationship: name the unfruitful drain. Define distance today. Lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us. Hebrews 12:1. Come out from among them and be separate. 2 Corinthians 6:17. Finally, make a public commitment. Vows grow stronger in the light. I will pay my vows to the Lord now in the presence of all his people. Psalm 116:14. Tweet it, post it, email it to your list. For 90 days, I will ship X fruit every day, time, measure 2 outcomes, and report on report day. Hold me accountable. Tag your triangle. Honesty is my only policy. Write it, sign it, schedule it, share it, ship it, report it. Repeat for 90 days. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. Hebrews 3:15. Purpose becomes predictable when it is bound to paper, time, and people. Lead with your life. Here is the order again so you never forget it. Image before dominion, roots before fruit, purpose before paycheck, deployment over employment. You can ignore it, but you can never disagree with it without consequences. God's will is not mystery. It is order. He never gave dominion to a fractured image. He never entrusted fruit to shallow roots. He never ordained a paycheck to replace purpose. He never called you to be employed by culture when he already deployed you by design. Write it down. Law first, then life. Principle first, then practice. Take a deep breath. Identity relief is here. You are not lost. You are planted. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in its season. Psalm 1-3. Jeremiah echoes it. He shall be like a tree planted by the waters and will not cease from yielding fruit. Jeremiah 17:8. Trees don't walk to you. Fruit draws you to them. So stop chasing platforms. Grow roots and grow fruit. Your gift is your map. Your orchard is your address. And your schedule is the road. When you become predictable in character, you become discoverable in service. Tweet that. Now the charge. Lead with your life. Keep your covenant. Do not betray your values to impress the crowd you are called to feed. Character, self-imposed discipline. Enforce your own prison of convictions with joy. Stay faithful to the 90-day deployment. Then repeat it until it becomes your lifestyle. Ship fruit weekly. Measure outcomes honestly. Report transparently. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, John 15:8. If it isn't on the calendar, it isn't in your character. Tie your purpose to time so heaven can trust you with more. Guard your orchard. The predators will circle power, money, access to sex, but you already built your fences. Keep them locked. There is no such thing as a private life. Who you are at 2 a.m. is who you are at 2 p.m. A is A in Africa or Alaska. Stay one. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Be holy, be one. Never meet where your integrity can be negotiated. Never spend what your policy forbids. Never post what your covenant cannot defend. Are you for sale? Not anymore. Your price has been paid. You were bought at a price. 1 Corinthians 6:20. So glorify God with your body, your budget, your brand. Here is your vow. Say it. Sign it. Schedule it. Write it down. My gift will serve my generation. For David, after he had served his own generation by the will of God, fell asleep. Acts 13:36. That is your epitaph. Served your generation. Speak it daily until your tongue trains your time. Schedule it weekly until your calendar confesses your calling. Safeguard it ruthlessly until your fences are famous. Be ready in season and out of season. 2 Timothy 4:2. Be one in character, rich in fruit, relentless in service. Go stand like a tree planted, principled, productive. Be one, bear fruit, feed many, lead with your life.